NFL insiders have revealed the truth on Aaron Rodgers and his future with the New York Jets, and we're going to break this down because this obviously is going to dictate the way the New York Jets move on through the next couple seasons of the NFL. And we're going to jump right into it, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And we're going to jump into things as always. Matt, obviously there's been a lot of turmoil with Aaron Rodgers. Ever since he got to the Jets, things have just been a massive disappointment. And it recently came out that Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets relationship will apparently not survive what has been a tumultuous season for both the quarterback and the team. Rodgers wants to play somewhere else in 2025, according to The Athletic, who also reported that Jets owner Woody Johnson has lost confidence in Rodgers' ability to end the year the team's 14-year playoff drought. It's gotten so bad that the Jets could place Rodgers on the injured reserve or may even decide to bench him over the next few weeks. And this comes on the heel of also saying that as far as his teammates are concerned, the report stated there are some players who feel that the organization is simply tiptoeing around the fact that Rodgers is not the same player anymore. Now, look, it's very clear that Aaron Rodgers is not the same guy who was in Green Bay, but the Jets didn't need that to succeed. They needed someone who was competent, but everything that could have went wrong this season for the New York Jets went wrong, and here we are.
So if Aaron Rodgers says he wants to play somewhere else next year, I don't know what he thinks he's going to accomplish somewhere else other than the Jets. The Jets have a pretty solid offensive line. They got every single player that he wanted us to pick up. They got a bunch of great weapons. Maybe we can get Mercedes Lewis for him, but he didn't need him. He already had Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, Adam Lazard. He got all his friends. He got Nathaniel Hackett in here too. I don't know what else he could have possibly wanted. I don't know how else we could have possibly tailor-made this situation for him. So this is pretty disheartening to see. I will say it does make a ton of sense to not play Aaron Rodgers if they were going to bench him or put him on IR for the rest of the year. It doesn't make sense for him to play because the Jets aren't playing for anything. He's 40 years old. You don't want to get him hurt for, his own personal reasons and for football reasons. But as it comes to cutting him, that would be, of course, extremely surprising. He carries a pretty monstrous cap hit should we release him today. So we don't want to eat that. But if the Jets' plan is to do like a bigger rebuild, then it would make sense to cut him earlier and get the money off the books as early as possible. If they weren't, then it would make sense to designate him as a post-June 1st release and then be able to spread out the money between the next 2 years. His cap hit, we could be able to spread that out so it wouldn't hit as hard in any 1 year. So we could still put a team around whoever is left. The problem outside of that is I have no idea who they would put at quarterback. Jameis Winston, maybe Daniel Jones. Like, none of the options are good. We're not going to be drafting high enough to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And if they trade up for Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, I might just press the off button on this channel, Chris, because those guys, I do not believe that they are deserving of top 5 picks, especially with the guys who are there in the top 5. There are superstar defensive players in this draft that the Jets need. They're going to lose DJ Reed after this year. Sauce Gardner's not playing well. They could use the elite corner like Will Johnson out of Michigan. They need run support. They could use the elite defensive tackle out of Michigan as well, or they could use an elite pass rusher because we only have one pass rusher on our roster who's healthy. I know Jermaine Johnson is going to be back, but he is kind of like a B pass rusher. He's not a guy. He's not a top pass rusher type player.
Well, he is a guy. He's not a girl.
Yes. But he is not someone who's going to put out like 18 sacks a year. He's not a defensive player of the year candidate type player. Hassan Reddick has also expressed that he doesn't want to come back to the Jets. So it's looking real bad, but I'm sure no one watching this video needs to hear me say that.
Yeah, I mean, things obviously went poorly, but here's the good news. We could just turn on trade override, and then everything would be fixed. Except we can't do that. The New York Jets obviously are in a tough spot right now, and things, once again, are going to get worse before they get better. And frankly, if things do get better soon, it'll be with a completely new team. Devontae Adams is gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Basically, everyone who is on this team who's not young is going to leave. And it is what it is. Look, we tried. We failed. Once again, it is what it is. Look, I do think the real problem was not getting Mercedes Lewis. I think if they had him, the Jets would have won every single game.
We talk about every week, everyone's talking about how the Jets tight ends are not good at blocking. So Mercedes Lewis is blocking tight end. He could have done it. We also don't have enough old people, so he could have helped in that department as well.
Yeah, we could have gotten more old people. We could have gotten my dad to come out there and play, actually. Just He played running back in high school in the 80s.
Your dad didn't play for the Packers, so he's no good for that reason and that reason only.
Oh, whoops, sorry, Dad. That does kind of put a damper on things. So the way that the Jets have to look at it is they have to jump into a rebuild, and probably next year what we're going to see is them decide if they want to use Jordan Travis or use some bridge quarterback once again. Whoever that will be is hard to imagine. I mean, I wish they'd go out there and sign Sam Darnold, but they're not going to, and it does make sense why they're not going to. It's just like for sentimental reasons. I could see it being Jameis. He just screams guy who played a season on the Jets because they gave him a starting job and the Jets went and got 6 wins on the season. Like, that feels correct at this point. Like, it feels like that'd be something that would happen.
Well, there's two reasons why I think Jameis Winston makes sense. One, because he plays quarterback and we need one of those. 2, he's available. And 3, the biggest, most important reason, he's fun. Because they're not getting anyone good. No, there are no good quarterbacks available.
True. Jameis might be the best quarterback available, honestly.
I mean, Sam Darnold's having a great year, but I really feel like that's part of his situation. That's the coach. I'm blanking on his name. He got cut in the first episode of Hard Knocks. That was pretty funny to see. He has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and he's still throwing as of last week, so not including last week's game, he threw 10 picks on the season. He's still the same guy who has some talent, has some athleticism and arm strength, but still struggles to turn the ball over. If you like Sam Darnold, if you like 3 years, and then we can trade him away for a 3rd round pick, then you probably will love Cam Ward. So I see a lot of Jets fans are excited about Cam Ward. That might be why. He might remind them of Sam Darnold.
It could be that. Maybe. But look, honestly, the Jets are in a weird spot right now, don't get me wrong, and going out there and figuring out what happens next is huge. I mean, the point is, are you really just going to bench Aaron Rodgers? Your backup quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. He's old also. There's no real point into doing that. I mean, this season just is completely taking a wrong turn. Firing Saleh was a massive misstep. Woody Johnson's an idiot. And what we've seen is we now need to figure out who the hell is going to be the quarterback. I mean, Jordan Travis is still injured, and I don't think he's the future of the Jets at all, like you. I know we both agree on that. He's not the future, so I don't really see the Jordan Travis point. But if he's healthy, why not? Because, frankly, there's no reason to play Tyrod. There's no reason to play Rodgers. Might as well live on the prayer that for some reason Jordan Travis is actually good at the sport.
Yeah, the problem is that for the Jets right now, there's no reason to play anybody.
True.
I don't even want to say they're playing to lose because there's no point in tanking. The top 12 picks in the draft are going to be elite outside the quarterbacks. So there's just not a point. There's not a good reason to tank this year. So that's why it's so frustrating to see that what's happening is taking place because they're going to maybe they get a higher pick so they can trade down and acquire draft capital for next year where we are definitely going to need to trade up to try to go get an Arch Manning type quarterback. But we'll see if the next GM, no clue who it's going to be. We'll see if he's going to be. We'll see if he's on board with that plan.
Look, I mean, honestly, I think if we just all listen to Lotto by Le'Veon Bell, we'll all feel much better. I mean, that's just where I think.
Le'Veon Bell, dude, he loves the auto-tune, and he loves dropping music. It just seems like the Jets they just find a way to get those players who just
they gamble.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely gamblers.
Remember that Sports Illustrated thing?
Why can't the Jets get lucky once, man? Like, come on. When's it our turn?
It's not. We don't get a turn.
No.
We're not allowed.
Clearly not.
We are the worst franchise in the NFL. There's no way around it. And it's probably going to stay this way as long as Woody Johnson's breathing. So maybe he'll sell the team.
14 years should be impossible. It's
actively impressive. I'm pretty impressed that they're about to be a 14-year playoff drought going on 15. I mean, if they make the playoffs next year, it's because the young guys like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner played really, really well. The defense probably has to play really well because it's still going to have some good names on it, and hopefully they do draft a defender at the top of the draft. And then what you do is you go out there and you have just some sort of stability at quarterback, no matter who it is, just someone who could complete a pass and won't go in saying something about pie or locking himself in his closet and doing ayahuasca, or is Tyrod Taylor. So hopefully they go out there and just get someone who knows how to play football and can manage an offense that has Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and then let the defense do the rest. Like, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs next season either with the way they're going into a rebuild. I'm just saying from a perspective of if they were to make the playoffs next year, that's exactly how they do it. It would be off defense with a quarterback who could just kind of live off Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and whoever the hell else is in that offense. I mean, Conklin, probably not. Maybe. I don't know why he'd stick around. He has better options out there, most likely. And
I think Conklin has one more year. I think Conklin has one more year left on his deal, so he will be here for next year.
Oh, I don't know why. I thought he was a free agent.
No, he might be. I could be wrong. But the question is, how deep do the Jets go into a rebuild? Because they could go scorched earth and get rid of some of those younger guys, or they could, just keep the younger guys around and only get rid of the older guys. That's probably going to catch you somewhere in the middle, which is, of course, not where you really want to be. Chris, the way I would handle it, top of the draft this year, you draft either the best the best defensive tackle, the best cornerback, or the best wide receiver. One of those three positions. Then next year, you hope you're in the top three to get one of those elite quarterbacks. And if you're not, you trade away the player that we have who's elite at that position for the pick. So if we drafted Tedero McMillan as the number one wide receiver, we drafted him in the first round this year, you trade Garrett Wilson, go get the quarterback next year. Or if you drafted the defensive tackle, you trade Quinnen Williams to go get the pick next year. So they could get the elite quarterback, and you would have a defensive tackle, corner, or wide receiver who's not as good as Sauce, Quinnen, or Sauce, Quinnen, or Garrett, but they'll be a lot cheaper, and they'll come with a brand new, really, really good quarterback. That's what I would do. That's how I'd rebuild the team.
Yeah, I honestly think we draft Mario Pedinera first overall. I think that's a good move there. Shout out him. He's our college rookie.
I mean, dude, I think he actually flunked the test to get into the NFL. They said he was athletic enough, but yeah, his grades were too low.
He probably failed the Wonderlic or something, knowing that absolute goober. Well, Mario, try not to throw up in the sink again. Guys, let us know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Just put Mario on blast, but he doesn't watch Jets Dodgers, so it's okay. Have a great day and go Jets.